Vande Devam Umapatim Suragurum Vande Jagat Karanam Vande Pannagabhushanam Mrigadharam Vande Pashunam Patim Vande Surya Shashanka Vanhinayanam Vande Mukunda Priyam Vande Bhaktajanashrayam Cha Varadam Vande Shivam Shankaram Vande Bhaktajanashrayam Cha Varadam Vande Shivam Shankaram. Margabandhu Stotram. In touching upon this beautiful work on devotion, I moved into an area, an aspect wherein I wanted to show you the last couple of classes how the bhakti literature, fortunately being an ancient land, we have a literature, all kinds of knowledge, traditions exist in this country, and one of the literature, the poetic literature, the devotional literature, is something that's pan-India. It's all, in every state we have these writings, these expressions of contemporary saints. Saints from 10th century onwards, we see their writings, their works. And if you go before that, if you want to see the roots, the starting point of this kind of devotion, as I have said to you before, that devotion has different intentions, Ravana, the great demon, also had devotion to Lord Shiva. But his intentions were not pure as a seeker. It was not about melting into Lord Shiva. It was about grabbing all powers and resources of the universe. And so the intention of your devotion is where you get typecasted into what kind of a devotee you are. Whether I am a devotee in distress, whether I am a devotee who uses the infinite being as a partner in all my escapades, in all my ambitions, everything I want in life, I use him as a partner in my fulfilling my desires. Or whether I am a devotee who's there just wanting to know the truth of the divine. In fact, we say, the one who wishes to know the truth of the self itself is a devotee. Because in this search for the truth of the soul, to know who am I, in that secret is hidden a bigger secret, and that is the nature of the infinite. And therefore, whether you are in search of the infinite, if you are, then you are going to eventually discover your truth. Or if you are in search of your truth, you are eventually going to going to expand your consciousness to knowing the infinite. And so this third type of devotee, the Jignasu, the one who desires to know the truth. And then we have that fourth type whose intention is what? He has no intention. There is no separation between I and that. Between me and the infinite, no separation. Both are one. This I is that I and that I is this I. That is the fourth type of devotee. We call him a saint. We call him a person of wisdom. When we look into the Vedic literature itself, we have some amazing devotees of the Lord, of the infinite being. In the Upanishads, like the Keno Upanishad, the very powers of nature, the celestial powers like the Agni Devata, the Vayu Devata, the god of fire, the god of wind, Indra Devata, the god of the heavens, these higher powers, who also the stories tell us when they begin to feel that the powers they have is their own, where they don't have gratitude to the higher power, where they believe that all the power is their own and not belonging to the cosmic being, we have dialogue between the infinite being and these smaller, higher celestial powers, where the infinite being shows that it is only by his will that the universe moves. The fire god, he is unable to even burn a twig of grass without the consent of the divine will, is how the story in the Upanishad shows. Vayu god, the wind god, the same little blade of grass is kept, and the infinite being tells him, okay, blow this blade of grass, oh god of wind, blow this blade of grass. And he takes that as a very big insult because he has an ego. And anyway, he manages to oblige and goes near the blade of grass just to show that if he begins to even walk towards it, it will get blown away. And nothing moves. The blade of grass remains where it is. And he comes gushing at the blade of grass. Imagine a tornado coming like a big power center, just landing on this blade of grass to blow it away. Nothing happens. And then he is shocked to see nothing happens. He decides, now I am going to just blow, focusing on the blade of grass. And Sarva Javena, the Upanishad says, he puts all his might. For what? Wind god puts his might for what? To blow a blade of grass. Does he succeed? No chance. Why not? Because it is not ordained by the divine will. And a story of this nature, of the Keno Upanishad, finally when these deities give up, finally when they accept, such fools we have been, how could we think that this power really is ours? It all belongs to the infinite being. It is only when their head bows that the will of the divine is seen as the ultimate glory of the universe. Like this, we have so many stories. The story of this little child devotee Nachiketas in the Kathopanishad, who goes and he tries to find out from Lord Yama, the god of death himself, tells him, please teach me who is this infinite being. And there is a beautiful unfoldment by Lord Yama himself, unfolding the nature of the infinite. And so, who were these people? Who was Nachiketa? He was a child who was the third type of devotee. The Upanishads describe always the third type of devotee. Only he is the one whom, when nature obliges to give an answer, we get these precious, precious teachings called Vedanta. And so in Prashnopanishad, 6 seekers of truth, they go to a sage, Pitpalada, and ask him these profound questions to know the truth. Similarly, we have in Taittiriya Upanishad, where Bhrigu goes to his father Varuna and asks for this great knowledge of the infinite being. Similarly, in the Chandogya Upanishad, we have Janashruti who goes to Raikwa. We have Satyakama who goes to sage Gautama. We have so many Uddalaka who goes to King Ashwapati. And Uddalaka, who becomes later a great sage, his own son Shwetaketu goes to him, goes to father to learn. And so we have kings who were the gurus, who gave this knowledge. We have rishis, sages who were the seers, who gave this knowledge. And like this, Narada, a great devotee of Lord, goes to this sage, this young sage, Sanat Kumara. So age doesn't matter. Whether the guru is a kshatriya or a sage or a brahmana, it doesn't matter. Whether the guru is younger and the disciple is older, it doesn't matter. Whether the guru is a female and the disciple is a male, it doesn't matter. Nothing matters when it comes to truth. Oh, well, then what matters? Truth. Truth is all that matters. The truth, the essence of the essential being is all that matters. And this is the third quality, the qualification, the quality of that third type of a devotee, the spiritual aspirant of truth. Today we use this word spiritual very casually, you know. People talk about being spiritual and there is not a prayer of gratitude that comes into their hearts. Just doing a few yoga asanas don't make you spiritual. Where is spirituality minus the infinite being? Where is spirituality minus a desire to know that infinite being? You can be a simple practitioner of your prayers, a simple religious person who goes to, like going to a nice elderly family member. You know, you get into trouble as children, you go to this older family member. So we can be simply faithful people. I'm in trouble and I go to God. Okay, if that's all your devotion is, then so be it. I'm ready only for that much. I'm in trouble and I want God. Okay, we'll show you how to reach Him when you are in trouble. But if you want your devotion to mature and grow into giving you this longing, recognizing your inner longing is not for limited ends in life, it is for the limitless being, because the eternal happiness is in His awakening of the divine. Well, when that equation is arrived at, the quality of my devotion undergoes a huge paradigm shift. And so in the Veda, in the Vedanta, in the Upanishads, we have beautiful stories of different people. King Janaka going to Yajnavalkya to learn. Kings went to sages to learn. Sages went to the kings who had this knowledge, who were wise people. Well, that is the third to fourth type of devotee conversion are the quality of the devotees of the Upanishads, of the Vedas. Then comes this literature called the Puranas. The Puranas are mythological piece of literature in which you find the different worlds, the world of the seen, the physical world and the unseen worlds interacting. And so the people of penance, the yogis, they remain where they remain in the body and they travel to higher worlds. They bring knowledge from the higher worlds to these lower worlds. They are blessed with dialogues from the celestial beings from the higher altars. And so like this we have in the Puranas beautiful stories of this young child devotee who was Dhruva. Dhruva is that child who he starts his devotion by being really afflicted in pain because as a child his stepmother will not let him sit on his father's lap. His father is the king Uttanapada, and his stepmother won't let him sit on his father's lap, and he goes crying, wanting his father's lap. His own mother guides him, says, well, this is how it is in the human world. You really want father's lap? You go and pray to Lord Vishnu. And Dhruva walks away, a 5-year-old boy, and goes in prayer to the Lord. For what? For the father's lap, remember. So the devotion begins with pain of an absence of something, and then that devotion gets transformed. Finally, when his prayers and penance is so pure and powerful, and the Lord gives him a vision of his presence, Dhruva, and blesses him that what you wish will be for you, Dhruva the child returns to the kingdom, and he is embraced, he is welcomed by his father, his mother, his stepmother, all of them. In fact, Dhruva gets a throne. He becomes the next heir to the throne. But Dhruva feels, what kind of a fool I am. I asked for a throne, to climb this throne. The Lord, the master of the 3 worlds had appeared before me to bless me. I should have asked for him to remain with me always, for me never to lose sight of him. And what have I asked? A throne is what I wanted. And so Dhruva's devotion has become bigger. He gets his material success, but he still seeks the infinite. And as the beautiful story goes, Dhruva hands over the kingdom to the next generation, his progeny, and goes back into the forest for penance. This time he is clear, all I want is the infinite. And so Dhruva achieves that, and he becomes one who remains eternally in this universe. In fact, we consider the pole star, the northern pole star, as none other than the consciousness of that Dhruva, the child. This pole star which is eternally there, guiding people towards the north. Guidance towards the north is guidance towards spirituality, towards the source. Like this, we have stories of Prahlada. We have stories of Markandeya, the 16-year-old boy who held on to Lord Shivalinga when Lord Death came to take his life away. And so the Puranas describe devotion and devotees who were seekers of truth, and they worshipped an Ishta Devata, their desired form of the Lord, and how they were able to cross their afflictions and their sorrows and their struggles of human life. Hundreds and thousands of stories are given in these Puranas. We have 18 Puranas, 18. Each Purana is thousands of verses, understand. The Skanda Purana is, one Purana is something like 4,000 verses. Amazing are these mythological great works of devotion. They invoke in you the devotee. It brings back faith that yes, however difficult a time I am going through, I will cross this, I will ride this, because the Lord is with me as my friend. He will not betray me, He is my friend. And so Markandeya and Gajendra, even animals become devotees of the Lord. We have a story of Gajendra Moksham, or the story of Jatayu, this great big bird who fights against Ravana, the demon king, when he took Sita Devi, the goddess Sita Devi, in that flight to Lanka. This great devotee of Lord Rama comes and tries to block his path. The demon king cuts his wings off. Eventually, after putting up the most brave fight, Jatayu, the great bird, drops, gives up his life for dharma, for the right. And such stories, oh my God, we can go on and on. It's so touching and so inspiring to know of these stories of the Puranas, because you cannot but feel the love and the passion and the pain and consolidating all your emotions towards that one single altar, that opening, that confidence, that cultivating that desire, that vasana for that kind of a devotion is inevitable once you read these Puranic stories. And this is all, when we talk about the Puranas, remember we're talking 5,000 plus years ago. Then comes historical poems like Ramayana, where there is a specific incarnation like Lord Rama. And those devoted to him like Hanumanji, like Shabari, this woman who waits in the forest, she has been given a message that Lord Rama will come to her hermitage, and she waits in prayer, and after so many decades, now she is an old lady. And finally, Lord Rama comes to her hermitage. Very beautiful, touching description in Ramacharitra Manas. in Tulsi Ramayana, where Shabari is so thrilled and besides herself that she forgets how to receive this great divine being in her poor hermitage. She makes him sit and wants to offer him the berries which are in her own ashram garden. But she doesn't want to offer him berries that may be sour, and so she takes each berry and eats it partly and says, this is tasty, you can eat this. Here, no, this is a sour one, I will not give you this. This is a good one, have it. And like this, she puts her saliva into the fruit and gives it. This is her expression of her devotion. No rules, no law, no regulation. In her devotion, she has melted in. And so, we have these wonderful stories in Ramayana. We have similar stories in Mahabharata, where a single deity, Lord Krishna, becomes the center of the lives of the gopis of Vrindavan, of Radha, of Gokul, Mathura, and Sudama, his childhood friend, who was his friend but now comes to him in the older age as a devotee. Like this, we have stories and stories of devotion in Mahabharata. And from then on, after Mahabharata, comes this contemporary saints. So think of it, devotion in an ancient civilization, which has seen hundreds of thousands of generations. Through time, knowledge traditions came through from the Vedic times into the Agama, the Puranas, the Ramayana, the Mahabharata, and then for the last 1,000+ years, as I mentioned yesterday, every state, whether it is Assam or Bengal or Punjab or Sindh or Gujarat or Maharashtra, or you come to Tamil Nadu or you go to Kerala or go to Karnataka, you have contemporary saints and their literature of devotion. Some of these souls were very, very ordinary. They wrote in ordinary language, the folk bhasha, the folk language, the desi language, what we say, like Mirabai's bhajans. She was a princess of Mewar, but then in her love for Lord Krishna, when she expresses her devotion. Or Surdas, the blind saint, a devotee of Lord Krishna. Or Tulsi Das, a devotee of Lord Rama, who gave us the Ramacharitra-manas. So some of the scholars, some of these saintly devotees, were devotees who had good education. There were others who were great musicians like Tyagaraja. There were others who were great scholars of the Vedic tradition, born and brought up in a Brahmin family. And when they express their devotion, well, we have writings like Margabandhu Stotram. And what do these writings contain? They glorify the Lord. Sometimes a general glorification. Sometimes this glorification is connected to the Puranas, the Shiva Puranas, connected to stories of the Lord as Shiva, how he protected the Devas from the Asuras, the good from the bad. So those stories, they describe in their writings. Others simply cry. There are devotional literature of a saint's heart which is in tears because of the pang of separation from the infinite. And so we have what we call this Shringara Rasa, in the emotion of love for the beloved, Lord as a beloved. Here we are going to see Lord as a bandhu, as a friend. There have been in Lord Krishna's stories, we hear about the gopis, how the devotees are all like how a gopi would, a woman would love her lover. And so the Lord becomes a lover, enchanting, enticing, all-consuming relationship with the infinite. But until He comes, there is pangs of pain and anguish, grief and suffering because of the separation. And so we have beautiful poetry in Bhagavatam, in Gita Govinda, Jayadeva's Gita Govinda. All these poets have written phenomenal literature in different languages on this relationship of the Lord as a lover. We have in the life story of Narayana Bhattataripada, what is his story? In Narayana Bhattatharipada's story, well, he was a great scholar and he learns from his guru. His guru gets an illness which is debilitating, life debilitating, and he prays to the Lord to receive that. It's called some karma vipaka, something that karma is taken on by him and he becomes debilitated, and he goes to this temple in Kerala called Guruvayur temple and stays there and writes. The entire Bhagavata Purana is rewritten in this beautiful set of 1034 verses called Narayanyam. He describes every in 100 verses written in 100 days. He describes the glory of the divine in absolute exquisite poetic language. But at the end of every 10 sections, he puts his prayer of relief from the illness. Every 10th section, he is seeking relief from his illness. And every skanda, every section has this. Until the end, on the 100th day, he has a vision of Lord Venugopala Swami, Lord Krishna. And in that vision, all his illness goes away as a miracle. And so the last 10 sections, he eloquently describes the glory of the Lord, the powers of the Lord, detailing his form. Well, I can go on and on. If you want to be a devotee who is of the third kind, but I'm not ready because of my worries and my aches and pains, well, then let us build up our devotion. Let us own up in my friendship with the Lord. Understand the friendship with God is not so simple. When you want to be friends with Him, you've got to own Him up. In what ways? In many ways. To own up a friend, you need to know your friend. You need to trust your friend. You need to join your friend. You need to work with your friend. You need to help your friend help you. You need to confide in your friend. You need to know your friend is always there for you. And this disposition of devotion, committed to friendship with the infinite, is the script taken by Appaya Dikshitar, yet another great poet, scholar, devotee of Lord Shiva, who chooses this temple, Margabandheshwar temple in Virinchipuram near Chennai, and with that deity he brings forth this expressive, most beautiful set of five verses to Lord Shiva. We will move into the text and look at the details tomorrow. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.